Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing pretty good. Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here. As you come in, don't forget to hit the like button. Drop us a comment in the sidebar. If you've got questions, put a big Q in front of it. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing really well. It's good to see. It's starting to cool down here. It's becoming much nicer weather.
It
Yeah.
was certainly cooler here. It was 49 degrees here when I woke up this morning, and now it's up to got up to about 75, 76 today, but it's definitely cooling off at night here now.
Wow, that sounds that I have to do the conversion, so I'm not sure about what 49 is, but that sounds pretty on the cold side.
Well, not for around here.
Okay.
That's just getting down to pleasant.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
if I had to do the conversion, which I don't, give me just a second here.
Well, while you're doing that, we got a message come through from Vaint. Just started carnivore on day 3,
Mm-hmm.
eating about 1-to-1 ration of fat to protein and starting to have rough stools. Any advice? Up the fat. Yes, up the fat. If any problems with bathroom stuff, either if it is too loose, go down on the fat. If you're having problems getting it out, yeah, up your fat. But
Absolutely.
congratulations on getting started.
Yeah, you've done the hardest part. You've made the decision to start.
Hmm.
Everything else from here on out is just minor adjustments to figure things out as you go. You've done the hardest part. You have started.
Right. Yeah.
9.4 degrees, by the way, Dave.
No. Okay, that's cold.
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm never happy. It's either too hot or too cold. Yeah.
I hear
So,
that happens. I hear you get grumpy like that when you get older.
right. Well, the interesting thing is, like, this is the conversation starter for old Japanese people all the time. It's either samui desu ne or atsui desu ne. So it's either, man, it's cold, isn't it? Or man, it's hot, isn't it? There's never, oh, it's just nice today, isn't it? It's always one of the extremes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Pete's coming in. How you doing? And we've got Eric here. How you doing, Eric? So guys, as you come in, just drop us a little message, say hello, let us know where you're coming in from, and I'll flash it up on screen. If you've got any questions, please put your questions into the chat, put a Q in front of it so we can find it, and we'll get to that. So how's carnivore been for you this week, Bob? We were talking
It's
before about a bit of a lack of energy. What happened with that?
Yeah. Oh, it's been rough, and I even had a couple of people comment on my channel. Bob, aren't you putting out videos every day anymore? Well, I didn't on Sunday and Monday because I was recuperating. Because last Saturday at the miniature golf course, we had a huge birthday party. It was 10-year-old girls, and there were, I didn't get the final count. There were 42 or 43 10-year-old girls running around the course. And it was exhausting. So I took Sunday off and I enjoyed it so much I took Monday off too. Finally got a video out again yesterday.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like running around after that many kids around that age sounds like a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't even want one that age, let alone that many. And I
Right.
mean, there were parents there and they did try, but you get that many kids of that age together in a group and there's just no controlling them. Kind of like
Yeah.
if people that are watching now have not seen your interview with Dr. Abs this morning, they should definitely go check that out after this live stream. because he makes an interesting analogy of a doctor's waiting room with 17 kids, and then multiply that description by 4.
And
you'll know what my weekend
with.
was like.
So how did you have to like up your energy intake? Like, did you have to do a bit more carnivore than normal?
No, I didn't actually. I was so tired on when I usually don't eat before my shift on Saturday. I'd taken a carnivore bar with me. Never got around to eating it. Didn't feel like eating it when I got home. I just went to bed. Did not do anything. I did not eat on Sunday. I ended up I made 6 scrambled eggs and was planning on doing some hamburgers after that on Monday, but I didn't even finish my 6 scrambled eggs. And then yesterday, what did I have yesterday? Oh, yeah, I had another 6 scrambled eggs yesterday. So I've had a grand total of about between Saturday morning and this morning, I had about probably 10 eggs.
Oh, wow.
Total is all I ate.
Yeah.
I just did not feel like eating, but I made up for it today. I had 6 burger patties and 6 scrambled eggs.
Nice.
And I'm sitting here happy and stuffed.
And I still haven't eaten today, so I'm getting really hungry. So I'm gonna be
well, it's 6:30 in the morning there for you, I believe, as opposed to 4:30 in the afternoon here.
Yeah,
so you're already into your Thursday morning. It's still Wednesday evening here.
Yeah, after this live stream, I'll be straight into the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think we've got a question here from Julie. Hi, carnivores. Here the other day, I did a fat fast eating beef fat trimmings for 24 hours after I had massive all over body and joint pain. What do you think? I guess my first question would be, after you did the fat fast, did that improve things?
Yeah, looks like she had just all over body and joint pain after the fat.
Oh, it was afterwards.
My opinion is fairly well known. I'm not a big fan of fat fasting. I'm not a big fan of sardine fasts or egg fasts or any of that stuff. If you're going to fast. If you're not going to fast, eat like normal. I have no idea why it did that. Perhaps I wish I could tell you, Julie, but I have no idea why that happened to you. Is that the very first time you ever done a fat fast like that? Because it's not necessarily a fat fast. It's just what I have for my meal. Sometimes I'll have just a couple of burger patties and then a pound of beef fat trimmings that I chop up real fine and throw them in the air fryer till they get nice and crispy. I throw salt on them, and those are really good. But I wish I had a better answer for you, Julie.
Yeah. Oh, can you help with this one, Bob? I love my steak burnt. Why is that? Personal preference?
Yeah, personal preference. You're a bad person. I don't know. No, if I do like my steaks much less done than I used to, but I grew up in a house where very well done was the only way steaks ever got served.
Right.
And I do actually I like them when I make them over an open fire, so they're still a little red on the inside, but they're burnt on the outside. But
yeah, I think
however
nice.
you like them, however you like them, that's the way you should eat them. Because you'll hear a lot of these people talking about, oh, well, if you get the steak too hot or you burn it or you cook it too long, that you denature some of the vitamins in it. Yeah, but it's still enough. I mean, just listen to Professor K,
Mm.
because he likes his meat. If you haven't been able to figure out from listening to all of his Who's Wrong on the Interwebs Today stuff, he likes his meat well done. He
Right.
eats fully cooked meat every day, and he seems to be okay with it.
Mm.
So I think how you cook it is much less important than enjoying your meal and having the proper food. Again,
Right.
that's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but if having your steak burnt was a bad thing, then explain Kelly Hogan to me. Because she's been on Carnivore now for what, 13, 14, 15 years, something like that. But she was a school teacher, and she spent the first 6 or 7 or 8 years of her carnivore journey living on McDonald's burger patties.
Mm.
Because she was always running back and forth to school, was always busy, didn't have time to cook, had to take care of the kids, and, just the general busy schedule of a mom teaching school and taking care of kids. She lived on burger patties.
Yeah.
So if eating burnt steak was bad for you, somebody like Kelly Hogan wouldn't still be thriving. Now, she has recently, in the last couple of years, added some more stuff, but she wouldn't have made it to where she is today without McDonald's burger patties. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what I base a lot of my opinions on. Is I look at what some of the other people out there have done and what they've lived on, and I don't see a problem with any of it.
The way I see it, like some people will say, the more you cook it, the more the nutrition disappears and stuff. But irrespective of that, any steak cooked any way is better than the way we were eating before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we used to have this saying when I was a kid, like, I mean, I prefer a bit more underdone these days, but when I was a kid, we had a saying, when it's black, it's done, so when it's basically there's nothing red left in it, that's it, that's when it was cooked. But yeah, I see it on the outside is nice, but I like it a bit rarer on the inside these days.
Yeah.
So I'm in Bali at the moment. It's been tricky getting beef lamb without sauces. My poor gut is cramping. I will have to eat as much scrambled eggs as possible. Yeah, load up on the eggs. Yeah.
Load up on the eggs, and if you're bringing it home like that, what you can do is get a cast iron skillet or whatever skillet you happen to have really, really hot, and then take the beef/lamb that has the sauce on it and rinse it with warm water, and then throw it in some butter or lard and fry it back up a little bit to crispy it back up, if that's the way you like it. You're still going to get some of stuff soaking into the meat from the sauces, but I would wash that off as best you can, and then throw it in some butter or ghee or bacon fat or whatever in a cast iron skillet and reheat it that way. Just a thought.
Okay, let me see. I'm looking for questions here. Okay. Okay. Mount Mabon. Any truth in meat staying in the gut longer and can be a risk, especially for the carnivore diet?
No.
No. Your body just extracts the nutrition it can, and then it passes through you, right?
The best example of debunking this or talking about this that I've heard, Dr. Barry, it's been a year and a half ago or so, had a nurse on for an interview. And her job was to teach people leaving the hospital how to care for their colostomy bags. Basically, they can't poo on their own anymore, and now they have a bag that collects their poo on the outside of their body. And in all of her years, and she'd been doing it for 30 plus years, in all of her years of helping people take care of their colostomy bags, never once did she find a piece of meat in somebody's bag. It's always vegetables. It's vegetables that stay in the gut and rot and do all that other stuff. Meat hits the acid in your stomach and starts to digest, and it's almost completely broken down already before it even gets to the small intestine. And the only thing that makes it to your large intestine from eating meat and fat is the very little bits like the backbones of the acids that don't get used by the body, which are very few and far between. Those make it all the way down to the lower part of your large intestine and on out into the colon and then on out the other end, which is why carnivores don't go to the bathroom as often, because if you're just eating meat and fat, you don't make as much waste because your body uses all of that stuff that it does. So no, meat doesn't stay in your gut longer.
So you've obviously changed a lot over the last 2 years, Bob, as far as physically and with your energy and stuff like that. What kind of feedback have you gotten from people around you? Like, has anyone actually said, wow, I'm going to try this thing myself?
No, well, not really. I've had some people that watch my channel jump on board, but I don't really have a really big immediate circle of friends. That's why I'm willing to pick up and move to my little shiny yellow square land behind me, because I have my dance teacher and the guy that owns Putt Putt and just 3 or 4 other friends. And those 3 or 4 other friends all are convinced that I'm going to die any day now.
Right.
and even when I tell them, about my heart improvements, cardiology verified heart improvements, they're still all convinced I'm just going to die because I eat this way. So I don't have a whole lot of friends here.
Yeah.
But all of the people that watch my channel have seen it, and they're all on board.
Your teacher must notice a difference, though, right? Because were you dancing before?
Yeah, I was dancing before. Mary Lorraine has noticed the difference a lot. She doesn't have a whole lot of metabolic problems because she is a dance teacher. And she's not a dance teacher that sits on a stool in the corner and talks to people. She's a dance teacher that gets up on the floor and dances with them. So she's dancing from 4 in the afternoon to 10 at night, 6 days a week.
Right.
So she's in very good shape. She's a couple years older than I am. I wish she would, if not put herself on the carnivore diet, put her husband on the carnivore diet, because he is recently retired. I don't remember. I think he's a respiratory therapist, but he's been a hospital administrator for the last many decades, and he's just recently retired. And I bumped into him the other day, and I can tell that he is mentally declining a little bit, and he would benefit greatly from a carnivore diet, I believe, but I can't very well go to one of my oldest friends in the world and say, hey, why don't you put your husband on this diet, because I notice he's becoming a moron. That's not exactly a good thing to do.
So yeah. So on the dancing, are we ever going to see a video of your latest performance?
I did an experiment with a members only video just last week. And even if I don't monetize, if I use copyrighted music, even if it's not monetized, YouTube
Right.
just absolutely freaks out.
Ah.
So I have, in the members only section, I have put up short clips
Hmm.
of me at dance class
Hmm.
doing little exercises between the exercises because there's no
Hmm.
music playing. But I just, I can't get it put up
Yeah.
because YouTube just, I even tried to go short. I put just a little 15-second clip
Yeah.
out of my dance class into the members only video last week. Didn't try to monetize it, didn't do any of that stuff. Just was going to upload it,
Hmm.
and YouTube had an absolute hissy fit with me trying to get that video uploaded.
Yeah. And you probably don't want to upset the YouTube gods, like, because they can be very temperamental. Like, even you think, oh, I'll just put it up and it won't be monetized, and then yeah, YouTube decides that their policies are now that anything with music, your channel's out or something. You just don't want to risk it.
Yeah. Although the way things have been going, I'm not risking a whole heck of a lot because views are so far down on my channel. It's not funny. And I believe it's the YouTube algorithm because back when I had a couple of thousand subscribers, I'd get between 800 and 1,200 views every video I put up. Every day I could count on it.
Right.
And now that I'm closing in on 8,000 subscribers, I'm lucky if I get 400 views a video.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, wow.
people just aren't getting notified.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's something weird going. I think the algorithm's kind of changing all the time. Like when I go to my recommendations now, I'm getting very, very random kind of recommendations
Mm-hmm.
for channels that I'm like, how is this anything to do with what I usually watch? You know, generally YouTube keeps you in this kind of that's what you watch, I'll keep you
Yeah.
there kind of thing. And recently it's been all over the shop. So there's something changing with the
Yeah. And I
algorithm.
see a comment all the way at the bottom that I want to comment on real quick. She's like, just dub over it with YouTube music tracks. I can
Oh,
do all of
okay.
that, but I do tap dancing. So if I
Right.
wipe out the music track, that also wipes out the interesting part of me tap dancing. You know,
Yeah, give
there's not a whole lot to see for me dancing. It's the sounds. And
right.
if I dub over it with YouTube music tracks, it will also wipe out
The
the
tap
actual
part.
the tap part of it.
Yeah.
But it's a good suggestion. Thank you. Now I thought I
Yeah.
saw a question up higher.
Yeah, we got a question here. So John Cosmo, I pre-make 4.5 pounds of ground beef along with either bacon or sausage roll into about 6 meatballs. And when I'm ready to eat, I just take 2 meatballs and 5 eggs and fry them up. Sounds good.
It does. It sounds great.
It is my answer to that question. Sounds good.
Yes.
And you're making me hungry, John.
Yeah, because poor Dave hasn't eaten yet. That's he eats after this live stream on every other Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because he rolls out of bed and turns on his computer.
That's right. Yeah. Um, and so I can say I didn't see Bob's notifications and I'm subscribed to get all notifications. Yeah, YouTube's been working real funny, especially recently.
Well, because we're suggesting things that goes against the World Health Organization.
Mm,
They have
yeah. I'm waiting to get, if someone makes a video about something to do with the weather patterns, you get a little notification, you get a little banner on the bottom of your video. I'm waiting for
mm-hmm.
the carnivore videos to start getting that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's crazy.
hey Alia, how you doing? Thanks for this. Looking forward to getting together later on.
And then
Where are
right
we?
below that comment.
David has a question. What are your thoughts on carnivore diet products like bars, chips, etc.? Do you think they're a good idea? Can you recommend any brands? I've never tried any myself. I think like if they are, I believe they are like very natural. Like there's no like it's not like the keto bars where there's oils and all that kind of thing in there. So from that perspective, I think they're good. I would still be worried about overeating those kind of things because it comes in a packet. It looks like a junk food bar kind of thing. So it just the whole atmosphere of the thing makes it look much easier to eat. And so I'd be worried about overeating that, but I've never tried any. How about you, Bob?
Well, I am currently sampling a sample pack of the Carnivore bar.
Hmm.
They contacted me. They're sending me a discount code, so I'm going to talk about these in a video at some point in the future. They're okay. They're a little higher fat content. They're basically pemmican. It's just meat and fat with a little bit of salt. And to me, they taste very gooey because they have a really high fat content in them. And I have found I like them best if I keep them in the refrigerator to kind of firm them up a little bit. And then when I take them out of the package, I dip them in salt to get more salt to help to go down easier. Because I personally don't care for the texture of them because I've made some pemmican of my own and I made it quite a bit drier than these are. These are a very wet pemmican. They're good. I just don't like the chew feeling of them because they kind of feel when I bite into them what I expect biting into a stick of butter would be like.
Okay. Okay. So it's quite soft.
Yeah, it's quite soft. And the problem with all of those things, the good ones, now there are lots of products out there that you can get fairly cheap, and that's what you're getting is a fairly cheap product. The Carnivore crisps and the Carnivore bar, all of the stuff that are made really well also come with a really well price tag. They're not cheap. Now, the Carnivore bar is a very, I understand because they're made with grass finished beef and grass finished tallow. And when they put salt in them, they use Redmond's real salt. So they're not using cheap ingredients. They're just because they're so expensive to make. And then they also have to, pay to package them and then pay to ship them. And of course, they're entitled to make a little money for themselves as well. They're just really expensive, which is why I'm hoping to get a little bit of a discount code. They're supposed to be sending that to me because I actually just got these Carnivore bars in the mail a couple of days ago.
Right.
So I haven't finished fully testing them out yet.
Yeah.
I've actually eaten about a half of one when I got home from work that Saturday night when I was so exhausted. I took like one bite of one and went, no, I'm not eating that. And I went to
bed. Not a full-throated advertisement for it yet.
No, I have to, but I am going to give them, try them in the fridge. I might even take one and throw it in the skillet for a minute, see what happens. But
just heat it up a little bit and make it a little bit kind of crisper, or
I don't know. I'm going to play with them just a little bit, but I am going to have a discount code for them at some point in the future. It's the one thing that Dr. Chafee advertises a lot. So we shall see where it goes. But in general, carnivore diet, bars, chips, etc., as long as most people make it themselves, because the
Right.
ones that are made properly that you can buy are really expensive.
Mm,
And you'll
mm,
find that if you use something like, say, beef jerky on a regular basis, by the time you buy good, clean beef jerky, if you do that more than 3 or 4 times, you'll find that buying a dehydrator for yourself at home
uh,
and making it yourself is significantly cheaper over the course
right.
of several months.
Mm,
That the dehydrator and all that kind of stuff will pay for itself.
mm,
So if you need stuff like that that'll travel with you, just make them yourself.
yeah. Yeah. Nice. Um, Hi, Dave. Thanks for joining. Um, Good to see you. Got another question here from John Cosmo. I've been on carnivore for 6 months. Start off at 236. I'm only down to 215. My face looks thinner, my legs look thinner, but it's just slow. Why is it so slow? It My take is it'll take as long as it takes. It's like a piece of string, it's gonna be as long as it is. Um, a lot of people, I think Kelly Hogan's an example that a lot of people throw up there, right? She didn't notice any exterior changes for a long time on carnivore. There was no weight loss or whatever because her body had to do so much healing. And I think that's part of it. Your body's going to prioritize how it heals, and weight loss might not be the first thing that gets prioritized. Um, that said, you know, 21 pounds is still good. But yeah, it might be that your body has to work on other things first. What are your thoughts on that, Bob?
I have a lot to say on this question. Um, you touched on most of it. First of all, we don't get to choose what our body heals first. My question would be, are you taking measurements as opposed to weight? Because there are a lot of things that can be going on. You might actually be losing more fat than you think because your body is healing. As Dave mentioned, Kelly Hogan, she didn't just not lose weight, she gained weight for the first 6 months of her carnivore journey. She put on more weight, but not fat. You need to measure things because you might be dropping fat, but if your bones needed to get some bone density back, that's not going to show up on the scale except as an increase. Your muscles could be firming up. Your connective tissue could be getting better. There are so many things that could be healing inside of you that will actually make the force exerted on the scale by gravity go up. Whereas your fat could be going down at a bigger rate than you think it is. I would go with measurements. And the number one thing I talk about on my channel, how do you feel? Do you feel better than you did 6 months ago? Then don't worry about it. Eventually, sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it can take 3, 4, 5, 6 years. But eventually, your body is going to reach its normal genetic set point as long as you're putting proper nutrition in. I mean, look at me. I flew through the first 150 pounds, and now I feel like I've gotten healthier over the last year and 5 months. But have I lost any weight on the scale? Not at all. I've been stuck at the same weight for a year, almost a year and a half. And I so badly want to lose those last 10 pounds, it's killing me. But it's not, because I know I'm getting healthier. I'm
Yeah.
doing more things than I've ever done before. I can feel my muscles getting so much stronger. So I wish I could tell you just hang in there for another 6 months and the pounds are going to start coming back off again. They may not. It all depends on where your body is and where it's going. Hopefully that answers your question, John.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, as Eric says here, inches matter more than weight. I think one of the things for me, I've never been someone that measures, but one of the things for me is not so much things like weight loss, it's how much more comfortable do you feel in your clothes? Like that was kind of the game changer for me. It's just like just sitting in front of the computer, just walking around, just doing everyday things and going, I just feel so much more comfortable than I did before. And it's like, my belt's not, holding my stomach in kind of thing anymore and all that kind of stuff. Everything felt so much more comfortable. And that's the measurements going down, not necessarily the weight, right? Okie dokie. Okay, and just Dave's got a follow up here as well. I bet that's a lot of inches, John. You're doing great. My measurements changed a lot, even though no weight loss. Yeah, nice. Boo-doo-boo-boo. Any questions? No. Yeah. Yeah, men can gain a lot of weight in muscle, and yes, how you feel. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback on that question. Nathan says maybe get a DEXA scan to see your body composition. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I guess the final point I would make on that whole thing is, besides, going with how you feel, I don't know about you. I can tell you, me personally, I did not get to the weight I achieved at my highest overnight. It took decades to get there. And only a couple of years to come back from it, which is still a pretty good deal, but it's not going to happen overnight. For most people. Some people it does. And it all depends on how much so-called weight or fat you have to lose. If you start into this thing at, just to pick a number off the top of my head, if you start off at 500 pounds, you might lose 250 pounds in the first year. But if you start at 250 pounds, you're not going to lose 250 pounds in the first year. And I have no idea how tall you are, but just keep at it. Know that you're putting the right nutrition into your body. And the human body is very good at healing itself if we get out of our own way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure of the answer to this one, but Ian's asking, can grade 1 diastolic dysfunction reverse? So I had to actually look up what that was there. And grade 1 diastolic dysfunction happens when your heart has a mild problem relaxing after each beat. I'm not sure about this one. Have you heard of anyone reversing this?
I'm not familiar with this particular disorder. I will fall back on the usual standby. The carnivore diet, which is the proper human diet, makes everything work better. Have I heard of any specific cases of this particular disorder reversing? No, I have not. But I have heard cases of so many things that you wouldn't think would reverse just because of diet. But they do. So all I can say is the proper human diet, carnivore diet, if anything can help this, that's the thing that will help it the most. because
Right.
I can't imagine that a sugary carb fueled chemical storm shoved into your mouth every day would make that get better
Mm,
either.
mm,
So take that for what it's worth. I wish I had a better answer for you. I can tell you that my ejection fraction, I have it in writing from my cardiologist, my ejection fraction has gotten better and my CAC score has gotten better. So I don't see any reason why this diastolic dysfunction would not get better. But I can't
mm.
say yes or no, it will or it won't, because I'm not familiar with that condition and I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. Dave might, but I don't.
No. No, no, not at all. So yeah, apologies. I can't really weigh in on this one because I haven't heard anything either. But yeah, I fully agree with what you said there, Bob. Just an update, everyone. Thank you so much. We've had over 100 people in the stream for quite some time now. Appreciate that. Thank you for jumping in. Thank you for your comments and questions, and thank you for your likes. If you are on Bob's channel or my channel, please smash the like button, and that will help bring some more people in. Um, so YouTube will see those likes as a good indication that it should push the stream out to more people, which is great. We got a comment here from Lynn. Yes, Dave, mate, I haven't lost any pounds lately, but I'm wearing clothes I haven't been able to wear in years. Carnivore for life. Yay.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Lynn. That's awesome.
good job, Lynn. Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Excellent. Okay, let me see if we've got any. Yes, thanks for the reinforcement, Dave. Keep hitting the like button. Yes. So yeah, just make sure you click it an odd number of times. If you continue to click it, don't do an even number of times. So do it 1, 3, 5, something like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
great. Um, okay. I can. Before significant body changes, did you find you moved better? I'm walking like a boss. Yeah, my experience is there was kind of um, a progression in things. Sleep improved first. Generally, movement started to improve, and then I started to feel lighter on my feet, and then I noticed everything else. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, I've told this story before. I was sitting down to record my 29 pounds in 29 days video, and I reached over to grab my notes before I even realized that I was doing it. And that's when I realized that this was really working. My joint pain got better. Um, but yeah, my arthritis conditions improved rapidly, even before
Mm,
I had any really significant body composition changes. A lot.
mm,
I mean, it I had originally hoped that I could, go from being able to stand for a couple minutes without severe pain. I figured if I could get to the point where I would stand for 3.5 or 4 minutes before I had to sit back down, that would be life-changing progress for me. And
mm,
now I go outside and walk every day. So I'm glad to
mm,
see you hear that you are walking like a boss, because regardless of what anybody else says, I am a firm believer. Do I think we need to lift some heavy things? Absolutely. Do I think we need to sprint occasionally? Absolutely. There's lots of other things that we can be doing, but I'm a big believer that walking is the very best exercise.
mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to someone about this yesterday. I think there's something else that walking is really good for, and it's just clearing your mind completely so that you can just de-stress. It's awesome for that. provided you don't have, like the iPod playing or the iPhone playing or whatever in the background. Like, just go out and walk without any distraction. It's awesome. And Scooby the dog is talking about your rejection fraction here, Bob. That is awesome, Bob. Kerry Mann also reversed his poor ejection fraction and heart failure. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Carnivore Santa, how you doing? Ho ho ho.
It's almost your time of year, Carnivore Santa. I was in a big box store that I normally buy groceries for. It starts with their name starts with a W and ends with a Mart, but they seem to think that I want to put up my Christmas tree while eating Thanksgiving turkey while I'm wearing my Halloween costume because all that crap is out in the store already.
Already.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, there's Halloween stuff out here, but that's it. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Charity Leonard, I struggle with AFib. When I'm strict carnivore, my AFib kicks off. I think it's ketosis, but it makes working out difficult. I wonder if that's anything to do with electrolytes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those situations where I would recommend getting a consultation with somebody that really knows what they're talking about. The first person of course, I always recommend is Professor Bart K, because if you take his vast knowledge and look at what he charges versus some of the other people out there and what they charge, the first person I would look at getting a consult with about something like that is Professor K. But if you know some other people, yeah, electrolytes, fat content, there's so many things it could be. And AFib is not something you want to mess around with. I think it will eventually get better for you the longer you're on carnivore, but that's not something that I would mess around with. I would get a professional consultation to deal with AFib problems.
Yeah. We've got a question here from Lynn. Dave, did going carnivore help you quit alcohol, or did you do other things to quit? If too personal, no worries. So actually, keto helped me quit alcohol. So I started off on keto and went to carnivore, but it was just going keto that got me off alcohol. So there's two things that did it for me. The first is being on some kind of ketogenic diet gives me so much more self-control than eating a regular diet. And I think that's similar for a lot of people. Like, self-control just seems to improve. The second thing is I tried as hard as possible to avoid any of my triggers when I was giving up. So I went keto and then decided everything that would trigger me before, whether it was walking past a convenience store, whether it was finishing work at a particular time at night, anything like that, I would try and change that up. And it meant I was often walking the long way around to go places and stuff. But those two things helped me a lot, going keto and changing my routines around, and or avoiding my triggers. And yeah, so it's been 27 months now that I haven't had a drink. So yeah, and I don't feel like having a drink at all, so yeah. Thank you for your question. Okay, do we have any more questions here? Have I missed anything, Bob?
I don't think so. Melanie has shown up late, but she is here and says hi to everyone. Hello, Melanie. I'm glad you're here.
Melanie. I think I've probably got. Oh, here we go. Yes. Hi, Melanie. How you doing?
And is David right? Japan is a drinking country.
Let's see. Japan is a drinking country. I used to drink on the train. coming back from work there. Yes, Japan, if you want to give up alcohol, Japan is probably not the country for you. So Japan has beer vending machines. So Dave knows this because he lived in Japan as well. Um, yeah, Japan has beer vending machines. Um, you can drink on the train, that was one of my biggest things. So I finished work at 9 or 10 at night, and I was teaching at an English school, and it'd be the last or second last lesson of the evening, and I'd be thinking, I just can't do this. I just can't. I can't teach another class. This is terrible. And then I'd just think, it's okay. Just get through this last class, and you've got a beer waiting for you on the train. You'll be able to crack that beer open as you're traveling home. And that was one of the triggers. And yeah, it's acceptable here to just drink anywhere, and walking along the street with an open beer, that's okay. Where you get fined or arrested for that in Australia.
Yeah, they
And
don't like you doing that
yeah,
here in the States either.
yeah. So yeah, public drinking is frowned upon, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can be out in your front yard and
Mm.
have parties and drink out there, but you know, beer vending machines, no, no, you can't. You can't do that.
And like, there's no ID required, right? Like they've got cigarette vending machines, and you have to have a special ID card to flash in front of the vending machine to actually drop the cigarettes out. But there's no such thing for the beer vending machines. If you've got the money on you, it doesn't matter who you are, you can buy a beer.
That's pretty
So,
wild because we don't even have cigarette vending machines here anymore. I remember those when I was a kid. We had
mm,
cigarette vending machines, but now they've gotten so uptight about, oh, you have to make sure you're old enough. So they
mm,
don't have vending machines for any of that stuff. You have to walk into a store, and if the way the laws are written, whether it's tobacco products or alcohol or anything like that, if you walk into a store and you don't show proper ID, the person selling you the stuff can end up going to jail. And the
mm,
store that he works for can lose their license to sell that kind of product.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
it's all about control over here because the state has to make sure they get their tax dollars off of everything.
Okay. Yeah. So Dave's saying, yeah, I drank the 1 liter beer on the way home from Osaka to Nakamozu. That's kind of around my area. Takashi, how about winter and carnivore? Do you feel cold? Um, I feel colder than I did before, but that's mainly because I think I've lost a lot of insulation that I had before. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, it's not as bad as it was the first winter. I was so cold, and I was down in North Carolina that first winter, and
Mm,
they had cold snaps down there that I did not expect because I'd been there the year before and it didn't get that cold, but it was cold and I froze that entire winter. On the plus side of that, when I came back to Omaha for the summer, I am much better being out in the heat than I once was.
mm,
And this last winter that I stayed in Omaha, I noticed that it was cold, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it was the first year.
mm,
So I
mm.
think our bodies do get used to it. But yeah, that first winter, oh, I was freezing the entire time because, well, I lost 150 pounds of insulation off my body. It was cold.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like taking the double glazing out or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Aiken says Japan still has the honor system. Kids could be buying for adults. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that in Japan that just work because people are like, well, I'm not meant to do this, so I'm not going to do it. Um, and yeah, when you're a kid, do you remember going to the shop to buy cigarettes for your parents or buy something for your parents like that would just be totally illegal now, Bob?
Oh yeah, I mean, because we had a little store. I grew up out in the country, but there was a little store about a mile down the road. And my stepdad smoked and drank. My mom didn't either. But he would constantly send me off to the store with a note, you know, please give Bob 2 packs of Viceroy and a 12 pack of Budweiser and add it to my account. I'll be down sometime next week. I'd walk down to the store, get cigarettes and beer, and walk it home again.
Yeah,
and I was, maybe 10 or 11 years old at the time, and nobody thought anything of it.
Yeah. So I used to like go and buy cigarettes for my dad. And so the shop was really used to me going in there to buy the cigarettes for him. So, once I started smoking as a 15-year-old, it was really easy to just get the cigarettes I needed, Yeah. Which, I'm not recommending.
I wouldn't recommend that for anybody.
Yeah.
I think.
Definitely. I don't think I've missed any questions here. No.
I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah. So what's Lynn saying here? We used to light my dad's cigarette for him. We all thought that was a hoot. Does anyone remember those ornamental kind of cigarette lighters that you would have sitting on the coffee table? They're like kind of made of jade or some kind of stone or something, and they had the lighter was like a bit of metal thing in the middle of it. So you had to pick the whole thing up and.
Oh yeah. As I saw a meme today, it said, I'm so old that in art class in elementary school, we made ashtrays for our parents to give them as Christmas gifts.
Right. Yeah, we did.
I remember making the pottery ashtrays.
Making an ashtray. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it looks like we haven't got any more questions. So we're almost on the hour, so we could probably wrap this up. So look, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We've got about 110 people in, so that's been amazing. That's been awesome. Thanks for your discussions and questions. And we'll be back with you in about 2 weeks. Bob, any final words from you?
No. Let's see here. I do see a question real quick before we go. Could you please explain why it's...
Yeah, could you please explain why it's best to quit artificial sweeteners? Bob.
Chemicals. If it tastes sweet but isn't sugar, it's a chemical. The best thing I can say for you is that there are some people that do just fine with sweeteners and diet sodas. Others, there is such a thing as a cephalic phase insulin response, that if you're trying to get over diabetes or any other kind of insulin resistance, which is a construct, by the way, but sometimes when you taste something sweet, your brain goes, oh, there's something sweet coming in, and it pumps out insulin to get ready to take care of the sugar, even though it's not sugar. Whether that happens to you or not, I have no idea. But anything that isn't sugar that tastes sweet, start counting ingredients. Because one of the biggest scams ever perpetrated on the Western world for your diet, things you consume, 90 calories sells so much better than 45 ingredients.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, and I can't really add anything to that answer. That's very well said, Bob. So we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time. There we go. 2 weeks' time. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate you being here.
Cheers, guys. See you.